Hey friends, this is Mr. B, and I'm going to read to you a story that has to do with environmentalism and ecology, the study of nature and habitats and ecosystems around us. It's called The Best Nest by Doris Mueller, illustrations by Sherry Neidig. Long ago, when the world was young, only the magpie knew how to build a nest. Her nest was large and so well built that her babies were kept safe. All the other birds laid their eggs here and there on the ground or in a hollow log or in a tree crotch. Their eggs were often stolen or lost, and the baby birds that did hatch were not safe from their enemies. Poor baby birds. This made the mother birds very sad. One day a mother bird said to her friend, "Let's ask Maggie Magpie to show us how to build a nest." So off they went to the magpie and said, "We know how clever you are and that you have a strong nest to hold your eggs and protect your babies. We want to learn how to build a nest just as like yours. Then our eggs and chicks will be safe too. Won't you please teach us?" Maggie puffed up her feathers. "I'll be glad to." At once she flew about, busily collecting materials. Twittering and chirping, the other birds arranged themselves on the ground so they could see and hear. Maggie perched herself on a grassy mound and they carefully smoothed the feathers in her beautiful long tail. She waited until the birds stopped their chattering. "First of all," she began, "you must find a hollow space that is the right size." "A hollow space! That's easy!" exclaimed the killdeer, lifting its head to show its sparkling black and white collar, and away it went. And the killdeer still lays its eggs in a hollow space in the ground. "Pooh, who needs to build a nest?" whispered the whippoorwill to the screech owl. "Why not just gather leaves and lay our eggs on the ground?" The whippoorwill with whirring wings flew away. The screech owl nodded wisely. Hoo, indeed. "Or we can just use holes in trees." "Shh, we can't hear," scolded the birds near them. While Maggie waited for her class to settle down, the screech owl flew off to find a tree hollow. Maggie looked around to make sure the remaining birds were listening. "Next, you take some mud for an inside wall and place several twigs in it." "Oh, I see," cried the blackbird as she scurried away with a twig in her beak to look for a dab of mud. To this day, that's how blackbirds build their nests. "But wait, we aren't finished," cried the frustrated magpie. "Don't you want to learn?" With a deep sigh, she turned back to her class. "Then you make an outer wall of weeds or coarse grass." The starling flapped her wings excitedly. I can do that. She flew away to make her sloppy nest. Trying to hide her annoyance, the magpie patted down a layer of mud. Even before she could explain this step, the grackle hurried off saying, "Oh, that will be very cozy." Maggie reminded her, "You must weave in more twigs or sticks to make sure the nest is strong." Twigs and sticks, that's good enough for me," warbled the meadowlark as it flew away. And the meadowlark builds its simple but sturdy nest to this day. Maggie took some feathers to use as lining. "These will make your nest cozier." "Oh, yes," nodded the robin. "That's perfect," as she flicked her tail and flew off to build her nest. Each time the magpie added something or explained a step, another bird would leave, not waiting for the lesson to finish. Maggie kept on teaching, but her voice became a bit shriller, her scowl a bit deeper. Finally, she stopped to see if anyone had questions. But only two birds were left, the oriole and a silly dove who hadn't been listening. The dove cooed softly, Take two. The magpie laid a twig in place and said, "No, one is enough." But the dove repeated, Take two. I told you one is enough, insisted Maggie. The dove flapped her wings noisily and glided away, murmuring, tick-too, tick-too. At last the magpie could stand no more. Angrily, she flew away, and never again would she agree to teach the birds how to build nests. But the oriole had listened carefully. She kept working and singing as she built a nest that was strong and beautiful, at least as beautiful as the magpie's. And now you know why each bird builds its nest differently from every other bird. Here's some fun information if you want to take a look. Scientists sort animals into different classes. All the animals in this book are birds. While all birds have feathers, not all birds can fly. Penguins do not fly. Birds lay eggs, breathe air, and are warm-blooded. Most birds build a nest that is hidden, camouflaged, or is hard for predators to reach. A nest may be made out of different things. You might even find dog hair or ribbons woven into nests. Quite often, male birds have bright feathers or coloring to attract a mate. It's usually the female who builds a nest, but sometimes the male or both male and female will build the nest together. Birds don't really need to learn how to build their nest. They are born knowing how. It's called instinct. Fun fact, if you see a fledgling on the ground, that does not mean it's injured or abandoned. It might just be learning how to fly or to find its own food. If it has no visible injury, you should keep pets away and leave it alone. Observe the bird from inside or far away so that the parent's birds can reach it. You should get help for the bird only if you can see a visible injury. You know for sure that the parents are dead or the bird has been alone for over 8 hours and it's now dark. It is illegal to care for migratory birds and most songbirds, and you need to get the bird to an avian vet. Avian means bird, or a bird rehabilitator. Check the phone book or internet to find one in your area. Don't try to feed the bird. And that is it for me today. Thanks for spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed it.